Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. I am the owner of NoDQ Aaron Rift. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get right into it. What did you think about Raw last night? Morrison winning, Kevin Nash and Zack Ryder teaming up with John Cena in the main event. And also, do you see CM Punk winning the title at Survivor Series or after that? Alright, to put it all in a nutshell, I thought Raw was a decent show. It was basically a throwaway edition of Raw, as the England editions tend to be, but there were a few interesting moments, you could say. Regarding John Morrison winning, maybe he signed a new deal with WWE. Who knows? I'm not really sure what's going on with him yet, but perhaps more information will come out in the next couple of days. He's been losing, as WWE said on TV, like 3 months in a row now, and his losing streak finally ended. He defeated Dolph Ziggler, which I thought was a little strange. Dolph Ziggler is the U.S. champion going into Survivor Series, and he's facing Zack Ryder, so why is he losing to John Morrison? Is Morrison going to be part of the match in a three-way, or what's going to happen? I just thought that was a little bizarre. If Morrison's going to end his losing streak, shouldn't it have been against someone else? I don't know. Regarding Kevin Nash, I'm just waiting for the match to happen and just get it over with. It seems that this thing with Triple H has been going on for months now, and Nash hasn't even had a match yet. So I'm just, tired of it. And Zack Ryder teaming with John Cena. Glad to see Zack Ryder getting his big push, and he's got the U.S. title match at Survivor Series against Dolph Ziggler. And that should be a big moment for Zack Ryder. I mean, he's going to be in New York. I'm sure he's going to get perhaps the second biggest pop of the night next to The Rock. So that could be a career-defining moment for Zack Ryder. We'll see what happens there. And regarding CM Punk winning the title at Survivor Series, I think it could go either way. It's probably 50-50 at this point. I have little confidence that WWE has actually figured out what's going to happen at Survivor Series, and I really doubt that there's much long-term planning there. I could see them changing the finish of the match the day of the show, going back and forth. I just think it all comes down to what kind of mood Vince McMahon is going to be in on Sunday, the day of Survivor Series. But I do see CM Punk in the title at some point. I'm not sure if it's going to be Survivor Series or TLC, but I do see him getting one more run before the WrestleMania period. How successful would Triple H be if he wasn't part of the McMahon family? Well, I definitely think he was going to be successful. He was already on his way to being a major name in WWE when he got with Stephanie. That whole storyline where he got with Stephanie, that happened before they actually had a real-life relationship. That started around November 1999, and Triple H had already been the world champion before that, so he had already reached the top. Now, if he wasn't part of the McMahon family, perhaps he wouldn't have had so much influence in later years. Maybe he wouldn't have been so dominant in that 2003-2004 period. But who knows? I mean, Triple H proved that he deserved to be a top guy, in my opinion, way before Stephanie McMahon came along. Hey Aaron, seeing how TNA reached a deal with OVW, how do you see TNA benefiting from having a developmental program that grooms stars such as John Cena, Batista, CM Punk, and Randy Orton, to name a few? Well, it's definitely a positive for TNA. The key is to start pushing to the future and start relying less on the past. So it's definitely a good thing, and I guess Bruce Pritchard is working with them. And yeah, they really need to start developing some of their own homegrown talent. But as I've said before, the big problem is not the talent, it's how you use the talent. It's the marketing of the talent. It's developing their characters and making them mean something to the general public. So, and the storyline writing and all that stuff. So there's a lot more work that needs to be done, but this is a step in the right direction, in my opinion. If it were possible, do you think it would be a cool and potentially buy rate-making angle to have Vin Diesel and Paul Walker in the corner of the Rocket Survivor Series, since they were both the lead in Fast 5? Totally unnecessary. Those two guys being at Survivor Series would not add one buy to the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is going to sell based on The Rock, and The Rock only. So it's not really necessary. Perhaps in a future appearance of The Rock, they could have them at ringside or something, but there's really no point in advertising them or getting them involved. Maybe they have them guest host or guest star Raw. That would be a good thing to do. But yeah, putting them on the pay-per-view, really no point. What do you see happening with Triple H in-ring career? He's obviously winding down as he had 3 matches in 2011. Do you see him having another run as champion? Highly unlikely. I think the only way that he would end up being champion again is if like there was a major catastrophe in WWE, like say John Cena got hurt and was going to be gone 6 months, or Randy Orton got really hurt and Triple H had to step in because they had no other top guy to go with. That's the only way I could see him being champion. I do think his in-ring career is on the decline. So, yeah, very unlikely. Do you see Undertaker ever returning to a full-time schedule again, or do you think he will make appearances at WrestleMania? I think his days as a full-time performer are over. This year's WrestleMania could be the last, but we've been saying that for years. We've been saying that, oh, this year is going to be the final year for The Undertaker, and then he comes back. So, if he doesn't finish up this year, I think he will go until WrestleMania 30 in Madison Square Garden or wherever it takes place, probably Madison Square Garden. But yeah, I don't see him like performing month to month on pay-per-views anymore. I think those days are over. What's the difference between being fired and being released? The difference is being released means that it's a mutual agreement. The two parties have come to terms to part ways. So when you're fired, the performer really has no choice in the matter. But when he's released, sometimes he asks for his release, or just things aren't working well, and they both decide they're better off moving in different directions and parting ways. So there you go. All right, that about does it for NoDQ&A video here on NoDQ.com. You can submit a comment, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Who do you think will be the next U.S. champion? Do you think it will be Zack Ryder? Do you think it should be somebody else? Do you think they should keep it on Dolph Ziggler? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.